So as you guys can see here, we've got both of Jeremy's fenders prepped for body work. We've got some chips, a couple of dings to fix, and then we can get these things spot primed, and then we'll move on to the bed. We've got the bed, the tailgate still to do. Then that's pretty much it. Once we get all the body work done, we can get the bed prepped, the parts prepped, get that painted, and then we'll be that much closer to finishing up this truck. So after going over a couple things with Aaron, we've got a game plan together on his truck. So we're gonna get this thing in position to start doing the body work on the firewall. So we'll get all that stripped down and cleaned up, and then we'll start on the inside cab after that. See how Artie's doing on the fenders. Artie! There he is, people. How's it going in here? Yep, that's perfect. Yeah, that's exactly. All right, so I got all my parts in the booth for Jeremy's OBS dually, everything except for the actual bed itself, everything that mounts to the bed. I'm gonna get all this stuff cleaned up now that I have it masked. I'm gonna get it primed, 2-3 coats of primer, just kind of spot prime the areas that need to be primed. And then this stuff will be ready to go to the next step, which will be prepping for paint.
All right, so Dylan and I are finalizing the body work on Larry's C10 here. Just a lot of little details when it comes to these trucks, trying to dial in the gaps all around the cowl area and get the body lines looking correct. Yeah, it's just a lot of work and a lot of time that some people don't realize goes into these trucks. Yeah, it just needs fine tuning. I all like it's all straight.
Show them how good the doors close. That's pretty amazing to me. Yeah, that's pretty nice. And those are loaded with seals too, so it's not just a raw door there.
Yeah. These ones are pretty nice. I mean, it doesn't really get too much better than that when it comes to a C10 door.
No. Okay, what about the body lines? I know Dylan kind of touched on it a little bit, but any tricks or anything you could add to that, like for guys at home that are trying to get these lines nice and crisp and even?
The body lines just take a lot of tape. I mean, Frank probably hates me for how much tape I go through. I mean, when I get done doing body lines, there'll be a pile around me because I'll tape it, I'll cut it, I'll tape it on the other side of the line, cut it, and I'm just pulling tape and doing that back and forth until I really get them dialed in. And very rarely does it come in the first pull. You know, it might you might cut the line in and get it pretty close, and then after you untape it and look at it, you might notice a few things. So you retape it and resand it, and it's just a lot of going back and forth and filling it too. You know, sometimes I'll tape the line all the way across and I'll skim up to the tape, and then I'll pull it, and then I'll wait for that to harden, and then I'll tape it the other way and skim. If I want to try to get the line really defined and sharp, you know, that's something that I'll do. But other times I'll just fill right over the line, and then I'll block up to it one way until it's, you know, all smooth, and then I have a good clean surface that I can pull tape on, and then I'll tape the line, and then I'll cut it back down the other way, and then I'll reverse tape it again and cut it back. And it's just, yeah, a lot of tape. That's honestly the key. I mean, some guys can cut body lines in without using tape, and you know, I can do it to an extent, but the tape is just a sure shot. It's just going to make sure that, you know, it's nice and crisp, and I like to keep the body lines really sharp most of the way through the process until the end, like maybe like right before it goes in for paint. That's when I'll start to soften that line up, because it's a lot easier to see the line if it's straight, or if it's sharp. If the line's really rounded off, it just gets really muddied up. You can't see anything when you're trying to look down it. So I think that's another key, is just keeping them really sharp the whole way through the process. It makes it looks better, and it just makes everything a lot easier to see. That's the gist of it. I mean, and then after that, it's just obviously experience and just doing it a lot to figure things out. And some people just don't have an eye for it. You know, they can't pull a straight line to save their life. You know, we hardly ever get a truck completely perfect on the first shot. You know, we'll get it as close as we can and wet check it, get it in primer, and then after it's blocked out, it gives us a little bit better idea. We can see a little bit better with just, you know, a solid one color on there versus a lot of different layers of filler. Hundreds of hours, if not thousands of hours worth of work. But
well, thanks, Mr. Slash, for sharing your story.
All right, it's a little long-winded, but that's how this stuff is. I could talk all day about doing body work and paint and all the different things, because like I said, it all comes from experience. I've experienced so many different things, you know, being in this trade for as long as I have now. I mean, yeah, we all have stories. You know, we could all sit here and talk about, you know, horror jobs that were just, you know, awful, and jobs that came out really good, and just our different struggles with everything. It's just, yeah, a lot of time, late nights and weekends.
All right, I know we showed you guys a lot of footage of Larry's C10. Reason being is we're trying to show you guys the amount of extensive work that goes into one of these high-end jobs. The guys are really, really, really close to pulling this thing apart and getting some of the parts put in the booth so we can start getting stuff primered. We've got a few things left to address, a couple edges to check over. We already fit the grill to make sure that fit right. So pretty soon, maybe even today, we'll start pulling panels off this truck, getting them in the booth where we can see them better, swiping for pinholes, getting them all cleaned up, masked up, and then we'll get high build primer put on those. Shortly after that, we'll get the cab pulled off the chassis. Either we'll do it or Tray 5 will do it next door, depending upon scheduling, and we'll get that inside the booth as well and get that primed. And then we'll be ready to pick the color that's going to be going on this truck, which I have a pretty good idea what it is, but I haven't actually made a spray out of it. We haven't actually looked at the color, but I'm definitely excited to see this truck go this color. It's going to be pretty sweet. So again, C10 for Larry. We're finishing it up right now, getting ready to get it in the booth and get some primer on it. Hope you guys like what you see. Trying to give you guys different content and stuff that's interesting. Hopefully we're doing a good job. This is a secondary job for me, myself, because I don't normally do this as far as what I mean by editing. So doing my best here to try to keep up with all this stuff. But Larry's truck, get ready to go in the booth. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. Please go to the website, kandypaintworks.com. Get some merch while we still got it. And we'll see you on the next video.
Hi, I'm Mike Rowe, and this is Dirty Jobs.
So are you super excited?
I'm so excited.
So we're having a debate here with Taylor and Dylan. Where the you-knows came from, you know? I'm pretty sure that Taylor is the master of the you-knows, but he seems to think he got the you-knows from me. I don't know. Do you guys know? He seems to know. Someone needs to know.
You know.
What you looking for, Dylan?
The grill bolts.
The grill bolts? Do you know?
I know.
You know.
This grill's gonna go on and it's gonna look wicked mint, huh?
You know.
My boy's wicked smart.
Yeah, wicked smart.
You know.
Case of smallpox underneath there, huh?
You know.
It's the age of the person you're asking.
Yeah, old people do it.
It seems like, you know, older people do it.
Yeah, big time, especially in a small town. Everybody's gonna.
But what do you consider older? Because I'm about to turn 50 here in a couple of days, so is that
I'd say
considered
old is
older?
75 plus, because I got some friends in their 80s.
You know.
I'm trying to get warmed up, you know. Got to get my stretches in for my closeout video. That's another you know that I put in there. Then you guys can close it. Close the damn door! Oh, you need this down for your...
I can still see in the light.
So Taylor's over here laying down a wicked line,
Wicked crooked line.
a wicked crooked line that he's gonna sand and then redo it, you know.
I do know.
He does know. And you guys at home definitely know now.
You know.
You still got the cheesy up set up out there?
Do I have to do it again? I thought that was pretty good.
It was pretty good, but shouldn't say Dylan?
No, because they're not gonna, because it's Mike Rowe's on Dirty Jobs.
It's not the, what did you call it? The pergola? Pergola? It's pergola.
The pergola.
He's like, yeah, I got this pergola that I made. I'm like, what's a pergola? But when I went over there and he showed it to me, now I know, you know?
Yeah, you would have never known what a pergola was.
No, never. I've lived here my whole life and I've never, ever known what a pergola was.
Pergola.
Hey, if you do a wedding party at your house, I could film it. I mean, would it be weird if I did it?
No, I don't know.
What if I had the camera, like when you were taking the garter belt off and I was underneath there with you, and then I was filming that?
That'd be interesting.
It'd be weird though, I think.
Are you gonna DJ too?
I could probably DJ.
Oh, no, we got
Well, no,
Sebastian.
we got Taste Slaps on the ones and twos. We'll get J-Rec on the beats. Are you guys gonna come down the alley on a tractor?
No, I was looking on Marketplace.
For a tractor?
Yeah.
You really were looking for one?
Well, I mean, they come up.
I mean, I seen the picture of you with no shirt on, with the straw in your hand on the tractor.
I showed you that?
No, you didn't show me.
I didn't
We
show
found
you
it when we were doing your background.
There's a
background check. It came up.
yeah. When I did your
Search.
background check, there was a picture of you in a thong on a tractor. It was a John Deere. It said, "Check out the rear on this John Deere."
Check out the rear.
Yeah, I totally seen the picture.
Oh, yeah, I was really. You look at me differently now?
That,
Oh, this guy's an idiot.
do I look at you differently? No, not at all. I mean, if you've seen some of my friends and the things they've done, you're fine. I'm sure you could rent a tractor from someplace out here, even like an older one. That would be kind of cool to have it like set up in the corner of your backyard. You can reenact that photo.